Right, here we go again then. So another week on the run. So this is week commencing Monday 13th of September 2022, of course. But before I go into the usual routine, fuel prices and such. Last week was obviously a non-vlog week, wasn't it? But I didn't actually work last week. I was up in North Wales all week and I had my HGV training and tests and stuff. So if you're wondering how I got on, afraid to say I failed. So I had 2 days of training, Monday, Tuesday, test on a Wednesday. So the actual bit with the driving examiner at the test centre, which is the 1 hour drive, yes, I cocked it up and I failed. So I cocked it up probably 5 or 6 times. They asked during the hours driving, they ask you just to pull over on the left when it's safe and legal to do so, and that was fine each time. But there was one time on the outskirts of the city of Bangor where apparently when I pulled out, he reckons I pulled out in front of a car and they had to slam on their brakes, but I didn't really think at the time, oh, that's dodgy, I've messed it up there. I thought there was a big enough gap, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But maybe he saw a car I didn't or something. But in an Arctic, it's pretty hard to see behind you when you're parked, and this is kind of in like a 40 zone, so cars are moving a bit, I suppose. But anyway, it's up to the examiner, so I failed. That's going to cost me a lot of money, so I'll go more in. I'll probably do a standalone video about getting my truck licenses when I finally get it, and what it costs. But having to do a retest, it's going to cost me several £100s just to do a retest, so not ideal. I'm still a bit annoyed with myself and disappointed, kind of thing. Should have maybe just waited, but then, as the instructor says, if you wait too long, you get done for being, not moving off quickly. But I don't think you're going to fail for that. You might get a minor for that. I don't know. So anyway, that was last week. I did pass the other 2 bits I needed to pass. So that was 3B, which is, like I say, the on-road driving. 3A are the bits that used to be tested at the test centre, but they're not now. You're doing with your instructors. So that is reversing, and also uncoupling and recoupling. And then, so that is the actual driving test bits. And then they also did module 4, which is the second part of CPC. It's just kind of like a walk around safety discussion kind of thing, which is something, as well as the CPC case studies, which is module 2 that you do at the theory test centre. So I've done all my stuff for CPC now. I've actually had my taco card. They told me I don't need to wait to pass tests. I can just apply for a taco card. You can get it before you got your license, so that I've got that now. So it's just that actual on the road driving test. So I really hope I pass it next time. It's going to get very expensive. So anyway, that was last week. So today, Monday. Plan for this week is I'm probably only going to work until Thursday. Reason being, Friday's my birthday. I wouldn't normally have a day off for my birthday, but it's quite a big one. It's my 40th. I turn 40th on the 16th. 40 on the 16th, which is this Friday. And this weekend, if I don't take that off, I don't think I'll get a chance to ride my trials bike. I don't want to go on my trials bike, so I might just have a day off and, have a bit of a jolly day doing hobbies and stuff. I went out last Saturday to Chester with some mates and my brothers and that. Supposed to be going to Chester races, but it was cancelled. Obviously the sad news, the Queen had passed away, but we still went anyway and just had a bit of a sort of drink round town, bit of a bit slow paced pub crawl. So I still feel a bit groggy today, even though it's like that was Saturday, that's now Monday. And my retest, I should say, for my truck is actually rebooked it in for a week today, so the 19th, which has been announced as a bank holiday, but according to the company I'm doing the training with, they haven't heard anything from DVSA or whatever, DVLA, it's DVSA, to say it's tests aren't going ahead now on that date, so if I don't hear anything, I'll be doing it then. If not, I'll have to reschedule it. Delay it, which will be a bit of a pain, but one of them things, isn't it? Yeah, so today I started looking about 10:15. It got to about 11:30, and I wasn't bidding. Food was pretty slow. I wasn't bidding on local stuff or even medium length jobs, because the other week I did one job to the northwest. It's like Runcorn for £108, and that was it for the day. And I thought, I'm not going out today the way I'm feeling, still feeling groggy, and just to get doing like £100 day. I don't really want to be faffing around doing local stuff either. I was a bit selective. I might have thought I'm only going to go for a job if it's like at least 150 on a job, preferably like 170, 180. So not many of them jobs are pinging up, but then a job pinged up from Halesoe in, one drop in Lincoln, and then 2 drops in Darlington, DL2. But it's one of these ones where they haven't posted it properly. They haven't put the actual postcodes in, maybe because they didn't know them. But we just put like Lincoln and Darlington. It's 230 miles on the job. I was 13 miles from it, so I quoted 245. Didn't think I'd get it. But yeah, they rang me up and gave it me. Went and collected it. It was just ducting, lengths of ducting, 3 metre lengths, and tees and all sorts of different angles and stuff. Not a great deal of it. First drop in Lincoln was to a Chinese takeaway, and then didn't tip that until 3:15, and there's no chance I was going to get to the second and third drops by 5 o'clock, but it just said ASAP. So just in that situation, I'll just crack on, and if I get to the drop but there's no one there, whatever, deal with it when I get there. It just said business addresses kind of thing, so it was kind of like fingers crossed. Second one was just an industrial unit, Teesside Airport, really close to there. They were open, somebody there till 10 o'clock apparently. So yeah, they got them off easy enough. But this kind of annoyed me a bit, but because it said 2 drops in DL2, I thought, all right, they're going to be, DL2's got to be pretty close to Darlington itself, and they're going to be, quite close together. So one was DLT1 postcode sub area, and the other one, as it turned out, was DL23 subcode postal area. Obviously, there's 2 letters after that for each one. And I did the first one, put the second one in, 20 miles away. For God's sake, so it was 20 miles. So the first drop was to the east of Darlington, by the airport. And the next one was closer to Barnard Castle than it was to Darlington. So I was up into Teesdale, beautiful scenery. Actually delivered to a farm, like loads of cattle on this farm. Actually had to drive in the farm past all the cattle sheds. So thank God it's quite a dry day today. Otherwise the van would be covered in like cow shit, basically slurry, but it's dry, so it's alright. Delivered to around the back. They've got a little biomass power plant on this farm. Trying a bit of a chin wagger in. I thought, is it one of these anaerobic digesters? I've been to them before. And he's like, no, we actually we burn like dry biomass. Apparently, what they burn there is scrap pallets, and he showed me the big piles of stuff they got there, but it's all been like shredded wood. It's like chip wood. Apparently, it's all old knackered pallets that gets go through a plant and get like a wood chipper, and then it gets delivered up there, and then they burn it, generate electricity, and also loads of heat, and they use that to dry other biomass or something. It's quite interesting. All these farmers have, a lot of them are diversified, haven't they? So it's quite interesting actually. Real nice part of the world. But then once it was all tipped, I'm like in the sticks, 20 minutes from Darlington, not a good place to get a job in the morning, needed to get something to eat. So I've driven 13 miles back down to Darlington to get Chinese. And bearing in mind, I thought this job was going to be a touch over £1 a mile, including getting there miles. Actually, by the time I did the last tip, it was 261 miles for 245 quid, which is less than 95 pence a mile, so it didn't really work out as well, partly because of the way the job was listed. But it's still a decent £245 a day. When I started at 10:15, it's not bad really. and then I've driven these dead miles into Darlington. So that is the Monday and what happened last week, and plans for this week. Right, excuse me, it's actually the following week now. So I only ended up working one more day that week, which would have been the Tuesday. Yeah, so I was in Darlington, wasn't I? Drove down to get that Chinese, tramped in Darlington, got up, started looking for jobs about 7:30, had a real struggle to get a job. Eventually got a job, I think it was like 12:20, so it was getting on for 5 hours to get my first job. So yeah, that kind of like demotivated me a bit, and it was a job going from, can't remember where, sort of Downton Way, or is it Teesside, more towards Teesside, Stockton sort of way. So I had a bike, a half an hour drive to get to it. It was 175 miles loaded, medium wheelbase. I got it for 168, which including the getting there miles, I think was a shade under 90 p.m. But by that point, I just wanted to get going and get something for the day, and it was going towards Solihull. So obviously, having sat around for 5 hours, I was just keen, and I thought, well, I'd do that, and I can just go home and spend the night there. So that's what I did. When I picked it up, 2 pallets, said 600 kilograms on the job notes, but I don't think it was anywhere near that. Took them down to Solihull, a massive place in Solihull. I've not been before, so it was quite interesting. Surprised I've not been there before, considering the size of the place, and it's local to me. JLR, Jaguar Land Rover. Solihull, we don't really make any Jaguars there. It's all Land Rovers and Range Rovers and stuff. Huge site. I went in the wrong gate. Had to go. Basically, the security guard said he'd only been there a week and he shouldn't have let me in. He should have told me to go on to another gate. So I drove in one, out another, and then back in the one I was supposed to. Which is quite interesting. So it's obviously drive around the site and have a bit of a look around. I did a long time ago. I worked for a year in the Mini factory in Cowley. I was doing like a placement year. I was doing my degree, so that would have been like mid-2000s. So yeah, it's quite interesting to go back into that environment again, but it's just way bigger than Mini. Got tipped, loads of loading bays sort of thing, and I was, I can't remember where exactly, but quite an interesting place where I got tipped, because I had to park up and then go and like speak to somebody. When I walked across to find someone, I saw a really snazzy sort of high-tech racking system where basically everything's put in grey boxes and stuff, and it's all loaded onto the shelves automatically by these machines that are on rails and going in and up and down the corridors, and then they've got little, it's all robotic to sort of put all these, store them away and get them back in. And then there was this like roller conveyor system with a few people working on it. It's all very high tech. I think it's all part of their storage and parts sequencing. It's all a lot of automation now. That was quite interesting. Got tipped really quick. Got out of there, went home. I think I tipped it about 5, so I was home. Quite bad traffic. It's the M6 that time of day. I think I got back just before 6 home. So that was the last day I worked. So 2-day week. Reason being, like I said, it's going to have Friday off anyway because it's my birthday. I decided to have a look at my car again, my Swift that I'm in now, because that still needed fixing. I've been putting it off for ages. But I didn't do it on a Wednesday. To be honest with you, I just monged around at home on Wednesday, had a bit of a bum around day, and just do bugger all, because I wasn't in the mood for doing anything. Thursday I looked at this car. I did a lot of work on a steering rack and fitted a new subframe, and big job a few weeks ago now, maybe a month ago. And ever since the problem with electric power steering and the clonk from the steering, which I thought maybe something major, I thought I might have to strip it all down again and stuff, hence why it took me so long to get around to it. Turns out it was just something that was a bit loose, and I tightened it up, and happy days. So just went and got it, got the tracking done, wheel alignment, and a local tyre place, and now it's all good. And it's much better to drive now because it's got rid of the dead spot in the steering in the centre. Yeah, should have looked at it sooner and just got it fixed. Anyway, so that was Thursday, and then Friday, my birthday, 40th birthday. I just went out on my trials bike. Anyway, personal stuff here, but that was the week sort of thing. But yeah, my general motivation for being on the run and going away in a van and tramping, especially, starting to get a bit colder now, which isn't an issue when I'm sleeping, because obviously sleeping bags are still fine, don't need a heater. But I did find one or two nights, one night that week, and the Tuesday morning, just sat around looking for jobs. It's actually a bit cold, you know, and you just totally lost interest now, to be honest. Somebody did say in the comments, once you've decided to move on to something else, it's hard to get motivated for whatever you're doing, you know, currently. And that's so true. Yeah, I'm finding that massively. So that was last week. This week, Monday was obviously Queen's funeral, bank holiday. My driving test was cancelled on Monday, as I expected. It's been rearranged for this Friday. So yeah, a couple of days. It's Wednesday now. So Thursday, a couple of days. Hopefully I pass it this time. I'm determined to pass it this time. It cost me another £495 to resit it, which I think is too much, but I don't really want to change training provider. If I fail this time, I might have to. But yeah, I just really want to get it done now. So that's the job for this week. Just focus for this week. Just really get that ticked off and done. And then I can move on, start applying for jobs. So yeah, I'm doing Flex today. A few things about Flex, just general updates on Flex. I haven't done it in a good few months now, but I just didn't fancy just doing local jobs for 3 days in a van, and just kind of like really lost the plot with sitting around and bidding and stuff. Just kind of want to get away from it now on the CX. But yeah, with Amazon Flex, they've announced, ever since I started doing it, which is in 2018, obviously it's been off and on since then, they've always given you extra insurance that covers you while you're doing them. So you just have your normal standard insurance policy like you'd have on a car yourself, and then while you're doing their work, they give you like additional cover. It's all sort of through them, and you don't have to sign up. It's kind of, well, when you sign up for the Amazon Flex, it's all part of it. But they've announced now from the end of October that's going to come to an end, and people need to get their own insurance. But apparently there's some company who will cover you for 22p an hour when you're doing it or something, or you can get like a full policy or whatever, but they need to see proof and stuff like that. So it's an interesting. I probably won't do any by the end of October. Obviously I really want to pass my test and have a full-time HGV class 1 driving job. But it's an interesting time for them to do it. I didn't think they'd bring this in the end of October. That's like really gearing up towards the Christmas period, and their busy period. But I don't think it will be as busy as previous years because of obviously the price of fuel and gas and cost of living crisis and all that stuff. But it's still going to be pretty busy. So I can't work out why I've decided to do it now, or end of October, but they have. Yeah, so that's it really. I know it's not much of a on the run vlog. I can't see me doing like a full on the run week again. Potentially that might have done my last one. So I'm not going to do another on the run vlog unless for some reason I do a decent week that's worth vlogging. I'll do some other videos on general stuff. When I pass my HGV, I'll do one about how much it cost and stuff, and the time involved it took me and stuff, and that experience. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry it's not much in terms of on the run vlog. Please stay subscribed. I will be doing other stuff. Like I say, general sort of videos. There's loads of videos I've wanted to do but just never got around to. And when I stop vlogging, or maybe when I'm in a truck and I've got time during my mandatory breaks, I might do the odd video and stuff. yeah, that's it. Cheers for watching.